New this week from Marvel Comics, Hellhunters issue number 1, written by Phillip Kennedy Johnson, art by Adam Gorham. I may be a little late to the exaltations regarding the latest original series from superstar writer Phillip Kennedy Johnson, but such is the busy nature of the end-of-the-year holidays in the States. Rest assured, however, that I am just as enthralled as the next comic book fan with this badass, horror-tinged debut issue, delving into the past of Ghost Rider 44, a character created by Johnson in his ongoing Incredible Hulk series. It isn't often that we get new characters from Marvel Comics that make this much sense. A dying World War II soldier who was offered the power of the Ghost Rider in his final moments to exact revenge against the Nazis? Yeah, of course I want to read about that. In fact, greenlight the film adaptation already. What are you waiting for? Marvel Comics meets Saving Private Ryan is a film pitch that movie execs would have a heart attack over. But I digress. The most compelling aspect of this series is its inherent sheer bombacity, which thankfully Phillip Kennedy Johnson has not toned down at all, as he has shown on social media, heralding this series as a narrative excuse to kill Nazis, a genre we always need more representation from. If you have been a fan of Johnson's bold, expansive, genre-bending approach to the Incredible Hulk, layering the world of Marvel Comics with eldritch occult characters and lore, then Hellhunters is only going to allow you to scratch that itch further until it bleeds. Sometimes the best comic book series are the simplest in their approach, with morally focused characters like the Ghost Rider punishing the bad guys, only to discover that there is a lot more bad people in the world than you ever realized, especially in war. But let's talk more specifically about this exhilarating debut issue, which means spoilers ahead. Our issue begins with a cinematic cold open with a group of Nazi soldiers fleeing a Russian military assault. As they venture deeper and deeper into the woods, the Nazi soldiers stumble past an occult symbol tied to a tree. A symbolic display of bones, viscera, and powerful crystals that the Russian soldiers dare not venture beyond. As the Nazis debate their next move, they are suddenly confronted by a disembodied voice speaking through the corpse of a dead horse tied to a large tree trunk with a chain. The demonic entity seems to know these men's motivations and their fate, offering them a chance for something new, power and immortality as the undying champions of the Reich. In exchange for their souls, of course, the Nazi officer stands his ground, unwilling to make the bargain, before he is suddenly shot through the head by one of his own men, Bruckner, who willingly accepts the deal. The creature then clamps down on Bruckner's neck with hidden mandibles, and he is overcome with a ghostly power before we cut to the title page. This intro feels like it could just as well belong in a Hellboy comic, which speaks to the tonal ingenuity that Johnson is introducing to the landscape of Marvel Comics with this issue and, of course, the Incredible Hulk. I'm excited to learn more about the nature and origins of this ancient evil that enacts a devil's bargain with the Nazis, especially given their inherited powers showcased in the preceding pages. Speaking of, we are next introduced to our main character, Sal Ramiro, in a military dropship flying over German-occupied territory, before the plane and every soldier within are suddenly impaled with unnatural shards of ice. Ramiro manages to make it off of the plane, although battered and trapped in a tree by his torn parachute, as the undying champions of the Reich approach him through the haze like specters out of a John Carpenter film. As Ramiro opens fire at the Nazis, Bruckner leaps upon him, transforming into a hideous winged demon creature whose bite is infused with hellish frost. As Ramiro dies upon the branch, he is then visited by a strange crow with fiery eyes, offering him a chance at vengeance. An offer that Ramiro heartily accepts after the death of all of his comrades and his encounter with the ungodly powerful Nazi soldiers. As expected, Ramiro is consumed by flames and reborn as the skeletal Ghost Rider wielding a molten chain. However, Ramiro doesn't have a lot of time to adapt to his new state, as he is immediately attacked by a group of shadowy figures wielding strange weapons in their arsenal. Managing to repel the attack, he suddenly hears a voice declaring that they have made a mistake because Ramiro is wearing American colors. Which leads to the introduction of the other members of our heroic cast of characters, the Howling Commandos led by Nick Fury. As I stated earlier, sometimes the best narrative choice for a comic series is the most obvious one, which succinctly illustrates how I feel about the introduction of the Howling Commandos to this historical tale. In other words, oh hell yeah, of course they'd be there. Though this issue ends rather abruptly and simply, it is still an exciting, praiseworthy demonstration of the tonal and character elements that will drive this series forward in the future, presenting an inventive, dramatic, violent, and imaginative new series in the Marvel catalog. Support your local comic book stores and pick up Hellhunters issue number 1 on shelves now. Also, while you're at it, you should consider checking out the excellent new Hellverine series from Benjamin Percy, exploring the latest horrific saga of Wolverine's deceased son Dakin as a new Spirit of Vengeance. It's truly a great time to be a Ghost Rider fan with all of these new additions to the character's mythos and world. I absolutely love the art style from Adam Gorham for this comic. It feels very much in keeping with the body horror from The Incredible Hulk and Nick Klein, but also has a very realistic edge. And once again, just some very cinematic sensibilities to this comic. The character design of the champions here is just so cool. Kind of reminds me of the Nice House by the Sea series. God, what a haunting image. Also, I'm really interested in this crow. It seems like there's a battle of devils playing out with humanity and the war that we don't know about. Maybe that'll be the plot of this series. The Soldier Supreme, baby, and Peggy Carter, hell yeah.